Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, you are welcome, and to my returning subscribers, thank you so much. So in today's video, we'll be making this beautiful stylish top on your screen. So if you are ready, let's get into the video. So for this tutorial, I have 2 and 14 to 15 inches. So I'll advise you make use of 2.5 inches or 3 inches so that you will not have any reason to run out of fabric. So I've gone ahead now to fold my back piece. So for you to know the exact way to fold your fabric, you are going to divide your hip into 4 and add 3 inches. So whatever you have for your hip measurement, you're going to add 3 inches, and that is exactly how you're going to cut out your fabric. I have gone ahead to draw out my starting line, which is serving as our shoulder line. So from our starting line, I will measure my bust points, and I have 10.5 inches. I'll also go ahead to measure my waistline, which is 15 inches. I'll go ahead as well to measure my full length, which is my hip line, and I have 25 inches. So I'll go ahead now to connect my lines. From this my bust points, I'm going to come up by 2 inches, and it's going to serve for our chest line, and I'll also connect the line. Let's go over the lines again. I have my starting line, which is my shoulder line, and I have my chest line, I have my bust line, and I have my waistline, then my full length, which is my hip length. So for the neck, I will be taking 3 inches for the width and 1 inch for the neck length. And remember, this is the back piece. I'll go ahead to connect the lines. So for the shoulder, I have 7.5 inches for my shoulder, but I'll be adding ½ inch for the joining of the sleeve. So I'll be marking 8 inches. From the shoulder part that I marked, I will go down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope, and I'll go ahead to connect it to my neckline in a slant way, just like you see me doing. I'll be bringing down what I have at my shoulder line. I'll bring it down to my chest line. After that, from my shoulder slope to my chest line, I will divide whatever I have in between the lines. I will divide it, and I will mark the midpoint. After marking out the midpoint, I will go in by ½ inch, and I'll mark it like so. I'll go ahead now to take my bust measurement, and I'll be taking the bust measurement at my chest line. So I'll go ahead now to mark 9 inches for my bust measurement, and I'll be adding 2 inches. I'll go ahead now to connect my points. The 1 inch that we came down for our shoulder slope, then the ½ inch that we came in at the center point of the armhole and the chest line, then the bust measurement. I'll be connecting the lines just like you see me doing, and at this bust point, I'll be bringing down what I have at my chest line. I'll bring it down to my bust line. I'll also go ahead to mark my waist measurement, and I have 7.5 for my waist measurements. I added 2.5 inches allowance for the waist area, so I'll advise you do 3 inches because this top is not going to have zip. So I'll advise you do 3 inches so that you can easily wear it. We are going to be adding belts, and it will help to snatch in the waist. On the full length, I'll mark my hip measurements, and I have 9 inches. I will go ahead and mark 3 inches for the allowance. It is only at this hip area that I added 3 inches. I'll go ahead now to connect my lines. After cutting it out at this full length, I'll go up by 1.5 inches, and I'll connect it to meet with the main line, just like you see me doing. And I will also cut it out. For my front piece, I have also cut out the fabric that I'll be using for my front piece. I'll go ahead now to mark 1 inch all the way down. After marking out my 1 inch, I'll go ahead now to place my back piece. From the 1 inch that I have marked earlier, I'll place my fabric just like you see me doing. I'll go ahead now to cut out exactly what I have on my back piece. I'll also go ahead now to open up the front piece. After that, this is what we have for the front piece. I'll also come down by 2 inches for the neck length. Remember that we did 1 inch for the back, so I'll be doing another 2 inches for the front piece, I'll be coming down by 2 inches. That's to say that we came down by 3 inches for the front piece. I'll go ahead now to measure it out so that you guys will see what we are doing. And as we can see, we have exactly 3 inches. From my neck length, I'm coming down by 5 inches just because I don't want it to be too open, but you can just go ahead to do what you want at this point. So I will mark 5 inches. And if you check it from the shoulder line, I have 8 inches, which is very okay for me. At my waist area, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inches and I'll mark it like so. At the full length, I'm going to go in by 1 inch and I'm going to connect that 1 inch to the 1.5 inch that we came down. Just like you see me doing. Just look at what I am doing, please, and you will understand what I am doing. I'll go ahead now and cut it out. At this point, I want us to see the way I am cutting this part, and please be very careful so that you will not cut in your fabric. This is what I have after cutting out the down part. So I'll go ahead now to cut out the upper part. Remember that we came down by 5 inches, so I'm going to cut it the way I cut the down part. This is what the front piece is looking like after cutting it out. So we know that the front armhole is always deeper than the back, so I'll go ahead now to trim it a little. For the sleeve of this top, I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into 4, and this is the only fabric that I have right now, and honestly I am managing it. So I've gone ahead now to fold it into 2 and I'll be folding it again, making it 4. So if I fold it the normal way of folding it, it will not be enough, so I'm going ahead now to fold it the way it's going to be enough for me. And I'm having 17 inches for the length of my sleeve. I'll bring the back piece of my top and I will trace out what I have. I will measure out what I have at the armhole area and I'm going to trace it out on my sleeve. And the way I will be tracing this out is that I'll be placing my tape at this pointy area. I will place my tape and I'll be placing it in a very slanty way, just like you see me doing, and I'll mark out what I have traced out on my armhole area. And this is the way I normally cut out my sleeve, and honestly it is very simple and very easy for me. I also add ½ inch. And the length of this sleeve is 17 inches. I'll go ahead now to connect my lines. So from this ½ inch that I came out by, I will slant it all the way down, and after that I will cut it out. After cutting this out, this is what I have for the sleeve. From the inspiration of this top, this part of the sleeve have a V-like shape, so we are going to be creating it. I'll be going up by 1.5 inch and I will mark it out. And at this down part, I came in by ½ inch. I'll go ahead now to connect the 2 lines, and after that I will also cut it out. This is what my sleeve is looking like, so I'll go ahead now to cut out the lining, but I'll be cutting it off camera. I'll come back to show you guys what I have. I have gone ahead to cut out the lining piece, and this is what I have for the back piece, and this is what I also have for the front piece. And for the sleeve part, I don't want to use lining for my sleeve. I don't want to use the black lining for my sleeve, so I went ahead to cut out the lining from my remaining fabric. So but the fabric was not enough, so I just had to cut out this small piece. At least it will be enough for what I want to use it for. I'm going ahead now to close up my sides, and I'll just be leaving my armhole area so I can be able to turn it inside out. I'll also be doing the same thing on my front piece, and I'll come back to show you guys what I have. So for the sleeve, I'll go ahead to sew it up like so. I'll close up the sides and this our V shape, and I'll be using gum for the upper part. After sewing it up, this is what I have. And also don't forget to give it a notch so that it can be able to relax very well. I've gone ahead to turn it inside out, and I have also given it a very good press, and this is how it is looking like right now. So I'll go ahead now to close up this 1 inch that we came out by, and I'll come back to show you guys what I have. So after closing up the front side, I'll go ahead now to stitch down the shoulders, and I'll be placing it front side facing front, just like you see me doing. I have gone ahead to attach my shoulders, and this is what I have. I'll go ahead now to cut out the excess. After that, next is to fix the sleeves. I'll go ahead and pin it down first and go over to my sewing machine and sew it down. And I'll also be doing the same at the other side. I am done attaching the sleeves. I'll go ahead now to cut out the excess. After that, this is what this top is looking like It's really looking so nice and neat. After that, I'll be closing up the sides. I will also be attaching my belts at the waist area, and for these belts I made use of 2 inches and I folded it the normal way of folding belts, so I'll be attaching it at this waistline. We have almost come to the end of this tutorial, so please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit on that subscribe button. Also go ahead and hit on that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we post new videos. So I'll go ahead now to close up my sides using 1 inch. I am done sewing up the sides and this is what I have. I'll go ahead as well to give it a good press, and this will be the end of today's tutorial. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead right now and subscribe to my channel, and this is the final look. So please do well to let me know what you think in the comment section, and if you have any question, just let me know in the comment section, and of course I will see you again in the next tutorial. Bye.